Preston, I want you to talk to our listeners about what that home inspection process looks like. And I think you have a 2-tiered process where you and your company can provide resources. And I understand that if I'm correct, you can jump me if I'm wrong, you've got sort of a better and a best approach.
Right. Absolutely.
So why don't you start with the what is it, the better approach?
Sure. Well, the best would be a pre-listing inspection.
Okay.
And that's where we would come out and inspect it and find the problems. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, obviously, there's a cost to that. We do, provide a little bit of a discount. But if you didn't want to do that, better is we came up with a checklist. And this would be a checklist for the seller to go through prior to listing their home. And this came about, I was studying with my daughter for a science test, and she said, "Daddy, isn't an inspection kind of like a test for the house?" And I said, "Well, yeah, it is." And she said, "Well, do they know what to study?" And I said, "No, but they should."
But they should, right.
And that's where this came up. So this was actually my daughter's idea. Well, and it basically, I divided it up into categories. You've got general, exterior, garage, interior, kitchens and bath. And it's pretty self-explanatory, going through. This is basically what the home inspector is going to be looking for. But I did want to key in on number 11 and number 37. And like you said, you can find it on Chris's website. Number 11 talks about the deck, a house that has a deck on the back. And Chris and Joanna, by the state, the state considers the area underneath your deck part of the crawl space. And what this means is if there's firewood under there or an old pallet.
Well, that's where I like to throw all my junk.
I know.
A lot of people do. You're not alone. And the problem is when this wood's laying right on the ground, untreated wood, it gets termites.
Sure does.
And if they have termites in that wood underneath the deck, which is considered in the crawl space, it's going to trigger an entire termite treatment for the house. And I don't know if listeners out there have ever had a termite treatment. It's not like spraying for ants or roaches. It's usually $1,000+.
It's very expensive.
It is. So bottom line, get all that stuff out from underneath your deck. Another real simple fix is on number 37, water pressure. If you go in a house and has low water pressure, if it has low water pressure throughout the house, it could be a pressure regulator issue, or if it's an older home, it could be the galvanized piping. That might be a little bit more, but what I find probably 90% of the time, it's one faucet or one.
One particular item.
Right, that one faucet has low water pressure, even when you turn on high. More than likely, what it is, it's a buildup of sediment. If you go to the end of the faucet, there's a little screen there, and it unscrews, and basically there's a screen there, and sediment builds up. And if you take an old toothbrush or a cloth of some type, clean it up, and then screw it back in, your water pressure will be fine.